So for me, number 2.
Wait, Jesus, you've already ruined the top 3 list. It's 3, 2, 1, Gavin. Like, this is like preschool level numbers.
I am doubling down.
You're starting on number 2? Jesus Christ. And this is Gaytriarchs.
So today is actually my partner's birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Todd. And we were having dinner last night for it. And we were having a lovely outdoor dinner and whatnot. And my daughter was super hungry. She had just played a lacrosse game. And my son got an appetizer for dinner. So his food came out first. And my daughter very politely said, "Hey, can I have a nacho?" And he said, No. My son is very generous and very sharing and very giving, but his level of reflexively saying no to anything and everything that comes out of my daughter's mouth is hilarious and also annoying, because I know that she was hungry, and I know that if I had asked for a nacho, he would have handed the whole plate over to me, because he is that kind and generous. But he is not generous with my daughter. And as you can imagine, the level of escalation that turned into very quickly at the dinner table, where she then decides, "Oh, well, then I'm going to take your drink," and just grabs his drink. And so she's being a jerk and he's being, frankly, a jerk. And I'm like, dude, just give her a nacho. It's not, nachos are meant to be shared, right? It was so absurd. And I just have to say to you, David, and listener, it never gets better.
That was what I thought you would say. Oh,
gets
no.
better.
I hate
ever.
that it never gets better, because the power struggles are so fucking real in my house right now. And the sibling power struggles. And then my brain, I'm like, yeah, but then one day they're going to be best of friends and laughing and skipping down the street. And you're saying, no, they're going to literally light a restaurant on fire over a single nacho.
Over a single chip. Yep, seriously.
One chip.
I mean, the way she was suddenly grabbing from him, he was grabbing her. They were kicking each under the table. It was like we had, toddlers, except toddlers, usually their feet can't hit each other, right? So now when you have teenagers, they actually can inflict damage. It's just absurd. But other than that, how is your Pride Month going, David?
Oh, it's very truthful, because this is our second pillar of Pride that we stole from Moulin Rouge. Truth. It is truly a joy to be a parent, but also, do you ever do that with your husband, where like your kids will be having whatever meltdown of the day it is, and you just look over and you're like, isn't parenting such a gift? Isn't it a joy? Isn't it a blessing from God? Yeah, no, it is. We have been, I think I told you, my daughter's bedtimes have gone from, they were terrible, and then they got really good, and they've gone back to terrible. And it's never fun revisiting that stuff, because you do think you outgrow it. You think, okay, well, we've outgrown this part of our lives, right? We've outgrown the fighting over brushing our teeth or putting the shoes on. No, it comes back. That's the truth. That's the truth about parenting. It comes back.
The truth about parenting during Pride, is that it doesn't get better, and they will always regress, and you just feel like you're on an endless hamster wheel. But we love it. There's the truth.
But also, everyone,
be
a parent. It's great. Join our cult. Join our cult.
100%. You know what? This actually makes me think about, so also yesterday, it was a very big day at our household when my son, who has worn glasses for the last 7 years, got contacts.
Ooh.
Now, I don't wear glasses, except obviously I am right now. These are readers, but I've always had eye issues, as in I revisited this with my son, who it took him 45 minutes to put contacts in, understandably, at the, ophthalmologist or whatever. And I said, "Did you put drops in?" He said, "It wasn't that big a deal." And I was like, I have such PTSD from the time that I had pink eye when I was, 5. The
1840s.
The 1840s. My mom straddling my chest, sitting on me with my arms under her knees.
Oh my God.
So she could put eye drops in my eyeballs. And you can imagine, I was, knocking my head back and forth, refusing to get eye drops. And now because of that, you still have to do that to me.
Wait, that was at 5?
Yes, I'm all about being straddled and tied
normally,
down, obviously.
Yeah. But wait, I'm worried.
But you have to do that to get eye.
You remember that?
Yeah, absolutely. Which is probably why I absolutely have real eyeball issues.
Oh,
you can't get anything in your eyes.
I assumed that like everything before 9 they would just wipe from their memory, because I for sure during pink eye sessions have pinned my children down and like peeled their eyelids open to get a drop in, and in my mind I'm thinking they'll never remember this. Now you're telling me this is their future, this grown-ass man in front of me doing a podcast for one person.
Yes, wow. I absolutely remember that. So anyway, speaking of living his truth, though, there was a lot of consternation this morning about his identity has been wearing glasses for the last 7 years. And now and he's in middle school, where it's nothing but scrutiny and mockery constantly. And so when he got out of the car, he put his glasses on over his contacts, mind you. So I think that he was just trying to make a dramatic reveal when he walked in the door. But I hope that he doesn't go through the day completely blurry-eyed, because he's wearing both contacts and glasses.
Or maybe he's going to have like X-ray vision. Maybe he's going to like see things that we can't see.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about that, Gavin? Have you thought about that
make
truth?
It positive. You brought that truth on and made it positive. Thank you for twisting it.
Can you continue the positivity, please? I see on our outline it looks like it gets positive still, because I'm very, very excited to see that there's positive news in the week.
Oh, we're gonna. Okay, well, let me always make the caveat that it is 2026 America, and there is no good news in the world, right? I mean, everything sucks. Yeah. Just let's keep in mind that, okay? But I gotta say, the sexiest mayor in all of America, Zohran Mamdani, has absolutely been flat-footed and aggressive about welcoming the entire queer community. And in particular, as many politicians have been stepping away from any kind of trans anything, he's doubled down on it and said absolutely centering trans folks in the New York City Pride, the celebrations, and saying that he's been putting it on they're going to have pride messaging on billboards and in subway ads and whatnot, and absolutely saying gay and trans people, you are welcome here, et cetera, et cetera. And he is outdoing all kinds of pride messaging by being a really authentic and truthful person. God damn, I love that.
I mean, here's my fear. What if culture changes and like the world accepts gay and trans people, and we don't have any reason to like do pride or anything anymore? That's going to be really disappointing. So here's my pitch: keep the homophobes, but just at a low simmer, just so we have a reason to get drunk and fuck in public.
Yeah, I think I'm
right.
I think
don't get rid of all the transphobes.
Yeah.
Just a couple to be interesting, like 1 or 2 here and there is what I'm saying.
You know what? Going back to our original theme, it doesn't get better. So, David, it's going to be fine. You're going to be able to fuck in public and get wasted with all your buddies.
All of my friends.
Don't you worry.
Yeah.
But speaking of a teensy bit of good news also, actually, this is a lot of good news. There was going to be a ban on trans athletes, children again, mind you, children in Maine. And it was going to be on a full ballot referendum in November. And it was, of course, funded by an outside shadowy group called, with a nebulous term, Protect Girls Sports in Maine. But guess what? Those dipshits didn't pass their civics classes, and they didn't get enough signatures to get it onto the ballot. So the Secretary of State in Maine was like, sorry, motherfuckers, your dumbass resolution ain't going to be on the ballot. And so that was knocked off the ballot, and it won't be voted on, which it probably would have gone down anyway in flames in Maine. But
it's just more satisfying when they do the stupid thing, right? Mm-hmm. Like when they are just, it doesn't really help. The net doesn't help, but it does make me feel a little bit better when they do the stupid thing.
Good. Well, there you go. Well, that's why I scour thousands and thousands of news sources every morning, 2.5 minutes before we start recording, so that I can bring you some good news.
For a little behind the scenes, guys, when let's say we're going to meet at 10 a.m. and I get on, let's say at 9:50, I start seeing the document that we work from suddenly come alive. Suddenly, I see Gavin's little cursor jumping around, adding stuff. Okay, but wait. I want to move on to our DILF of the week, because usually this is something that you curate. Yeah, because
exactly.
I think everyone is hot. I know.
You have never had a DILF.
I think everyone is hot, and I want to sleep with everyone, so it's hard for me to narrow it down. However, this photo popped up in my I want to say it was like Threads or some shit I don't ever like open, but I happen to open it or whatever. And I like gasped at how attracted I was to this man. Now, this man is somebody we know. He is attractive, but I don't know. He's been our DILF of the week before, but this picture I'm going to text you right now. It is Mayor Pete. Mayor Pete went out for a run, shirtless. And now while he doesn't have the greatest body of all time, this picture, I was like, beat me, daddy, to the ground. He is so hot. He looks like an Air Force pilot out for a run in his Where Were You January 6th sunglasses.
All right.
Look at this picture I just sent you. How sexy is that man? So
there he is. Also, he's licking the salty sweat off his upper lip as he is running by, not even flexing, but looking fantastic.
Flexing. It doesn't need to. Like, I don't need you to have abs. I need you to be hot and to want to sleep with me. So, Mayor Pete, speaking of mayors, Mayor Pete, you are our DILF of the week. You have been our DILF of the week, but you are going to be our DILF of the week again because you gave us what we wanted for Pride, which was skin.
Just thirst trap.
Yes.
I will point out we are nothing if not complete hypocrites. And when I say the Mamdani is the one who's doubling down and being principled, I definitely mean that people like Mayor Pete and Gavin Newsom are absolutely backstabbing the trans community. But in this case, Mayor Pete, you're hot, and we'll bring Mamdani back next time. Hey, Mayor Mamdani, could you send us some shirtless photos, please? Hey, okay, thanks, bye.
Oh, I would love that. See, this is what I think. I think people are forgetting. I think with heated rivalry, people are starting to get a little bit more, but people like to see dudes naked. I think there was that while where it was like all about boobs, and I think boobs are great, but people forget like guys are hot, whether you're gay or straight or male or female or whatever.
Let's all accept it and embrace it.
You know what I'm not going to accept, and I am not going to embrace?
Do tell.
Our top 3 list.
Gaytriarchs top 3 list. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so originally this was going to be my week, but then I was the idiot who wasn't prepared. And so David stepped in. He reached into his gaping orifice of top 3 topics because David is always prepared and apparently neglects his children by writing down notes to himself about the podcast all the time. Anyway, you gave us the topic, top 3 Elphabas. And why not?
Yeah.
We're
gay men.
So many of them.
The Elphaba runs through our veins. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I will start with it, though, because this was technically my week. So for number 3 for me, Anna Gasteyer.
Love her.
I thought it was so... I was like, wait, Anna who?
Everyone
really?
did. Everyone. Because she was one of the first. Yeah. She was the original tour run. Like, she was one of the first, like, a group of them. And everyone was like, wait, Anna Gasteyer? What?
She can sing.
She can.
And frankly, I don't even know if she's any good, but
I
know that she didn't get fired.
No, she's great.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, and she's obviously wiping the floors with her comedy right now in Shmigadoon, right? So anyway, number 3 for me, even though I never saw her, is Anna Gasteyer, because I just think it's awesome that an SNL woman is 5 years or 10 years down the line suddenly going to be like, I'm going to play Elphaba. Number 2, drag queens. Yeah. I love it when drag queens are Elphabas because I just think it's A, hilarious, and B, awesome. So anyway, all the drag queens, they're my number 2. And my number 1, the person who I know sings Defying Gravity in the most sensational way, and it doesn't even matter if she hasn't actually bowed last as the Green Woman, is Ashley Blanchett. Look her up. Her voice is absolutely from God. So Ashley Blanchett. There you go. How about you?
Okay, so you did it differently than me, but that's okay. I did it very straight. I just like, who are the ones that I think are the best at the singing? So, just at the role in general. So in number 3, I don't even know how to say this person's name because she, first of all, she's a Dutch singer. It's Willemijn Verkijk is I think her name. Do you know who this is?
Yeah.
So
yes.
So first of all, this category, you know how people like what is your go-to? Like, I'm bored, I go to YouTube. For me, it's watching Defying Gravity. I have seen thousands of Elphabas sing Defying Gravity. I don't know what it is. I just fucking love it. So I love.
Do you think Legally Blonde feels jealous about?
No, I've seen Legally Blonde more than this. No, I've for sure gone over. But so Willemijn she is so. The role has obviously there's a lot of singing in it. And when you have somebody who feels like they woke up and could sing this, there's something you just feel taken care of. Willemijn is Her voice is fucking spectacular, okay?
All right.
Number 2, you maybe not have heard this person. Her name is Caroline Bowman. Do you know her?
Okay.
Oh
No.
my God. First of all, I don't know if this doesn't really matter, but she is the most angular Wicked Witch face.
Oh,
She's
okay.
got those angles that make it look so good, but she is this crisp, clean voice. But the acting, her acting is so fucking good because to me, the best Elphabas are the ones that aren't just, I'm just evil.
It's
they
not
are
about
hurt.
those last 3 notes.
They're
It's
fucking
definitely not
hurt. They are hurt and devastated, and they're anyway. So Caroline Bowman, you are my number 2. Number 1,
right.
I know it's a little cliche, but I have to give it to her, Idina Menzel. I know,
Okay.
but she doesn't have the best voice. I get it. I get that she doesn't have the best voice.
Definitely.
But creating a role like this, people forget that she created 90% of the iconic moments of this character from fucking scratch. And so Idina Menzel, to me, there's nothing better than that moment right before she sings Defying Gravity, where she basically is telling Galinda, like, come on, let's go do this thing together. And Galinda basically says no. And the face melting from her. Watch that clip on the Tonys. Now, when she starts singing, you can turn it off. But the acting in that moment is so beautiful. Number 1, Adele Dazeem. All right. So next week is going to be my week. Is that how we're going to do this? Okay.
Sure. I'm ready with the topic, but I'm insecure about it. So you go
Okay.
ahead.
No, it's okay. But first of all, also, I want everyone out there listening, all the listener, we know Jessica Vosk is one of the GOATs. We know we didn't mention Jessica Vosk. I didn't mention Jessica Vosk. She got disqualified because she does too many riffs. I am a fan of clean Elphaba, who goes, at the end of the war cry. I don't want to hear all of your runs. Jessica Vosk, you are a star. You are a joy. You are a light. You are not in my top 3. Okay, so next week,
Did you like Cynthia then? Do you like her ending for the war cry? Because it's extra.
It's a little extra,
but it could be. I'm surprised it wasn't even more so, frankly.
I think there was a lot of discussion about it, and I feel like I could hear the discussion in her war cry. It didn't feel just, I'm just singing to the sky. It felt like this was what was approved on paper. It's fine. It's fine.
It was a war cry by committee.
Yes.
Right.
So, all right, next week, our top 3 list. This is something that's very close to my heart. What are the top 3 loyalty programs?
Okay. Awesome.
Gavin, this week, I beg of you, please pull yourself together because we have the real deal with us today. Our guest this week is a clinical psychologist, and he specializes in evidence-based treatment for adults. In 2001, he founded Jewish Queer Youth, one of the first support organizations for LGBTQ plus individuals from Orthodox backgrounds. But I'm not done. He also earned his PhD, Gavin, his PhD in clinical psychology. And wait, completed his fellowship at Yale University School of Medicine at the exact same time I was blowing strangers at the Florida State University Library. He is a dad to twins, a husband to one, and a leader in our local gay dad community. Please welcome to the show, Dr. Erez Harari.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you for elevating us like we have never been elevated before.
I mean, Yale, what is happening on this show?
All of it.
Yeah.
So Erez, welcome. We know each other personally, but please, I'm so excited to have you on the show. But before we get into that, please tell us, how did your kids drive you nuts today?
Today, I don't know that I have a story today because it was just kind of like a rush to get them out to school. It was School Spirit Day, which is lovely. It's a lovely way to get parents to have to spend tons of money on crap that they don't need. So that's wonderful. But I guess like this would be a PSA for parents in general. There's this wonderful show called Kids Baking Championship. I'm not sure if you've heard of it.
Oh, love Kids Baking Championship.
I made the mistake of having my kids watch Kids Baking Championship this weekend and paid the price for it the following day because they decided that they wanted to be Kids Baking Champions. So we woke up, I think 5:30 a.m. They were this excited that they woke up at 5:30 a.m., went downstairs, took out jars of peanut butter, chocolate syrup, and they started baking, which is basically just spraying those things all over the house.
Yes.
So, I mean, we woke up to a delightful mess, and chocolate syrup is not an easy thing to get off of furniture.
You're so generous in calling it a delightful mess, but please tell us that you are also, despite being a clinical psychologist who has Yale written all over, please tell us you also can lose your shit when chocolate syrup is all over the walls.
I can. I kept it together on Saturday, but that is not my typical MO with this kind of stuff.
It's so like my kids are at the exact age where they want to help, quote unquote, my daughter especially, and when they want to help with baking, it fit like every mitochondria in my body just starts to twist because all I know is that the job is now for me to fix all the things that they did wrong. And of course, I'm talking about measuring flour, right? If I'm like pour the chocolate chips in the, from the bag into the bowl, great, they got it. But they want to like measure like baking powder. And I'm like, this is an actual nightmare for me, but it's very cute. I will say that show, top notch. That and MasterChef Junior, adorable. These kids are so sweet, but you're right. It is a gateway drug into helping you in the kitchen.
Oh well, Erez, did they make anything that was actually palatable?
No, but I had to taste everything that they made.
Oh.
And then, of course, you get into the fight between the two of them over who won and who actually made the better dish.
And
then they forced me to bake because I had to then be a contestant. So, the fun never ends.
the fun never ends.
Well, can you tell us, how did you actually become a dad yourself?
So I became a dad through surrogacy. So we had our kids in 2019. They're 6.5. And twins, I'm assuming? Since you're in this case, you're using they, them pronouns. Does that mean you have twins? Or is this just one that you had in 2019? Got it. That means we have twins. We have boy-girl twins, Ella and Jacob. So, I mean, we knew that we wanted kids, and we also knew that if we were to start the journey with just one, we would probably not have the second. So we decided to make it a 2-for-1 deal.
Also a nice discount, right? Did you get you kind of get a discount at that point, right? One transfer, right? Like one set of,
At the time, like the agencies would try to sell you on how it ends up being approximately the same price to do 2 journeys versus one. But the reality is, like, you're saving a good chunk of money doing it in one shot.
Oh, yeah. Like, and of course they're going to say that because they want to squeeze an extra journey out of you.
That's capitalism, baby. But it might be 2 almost for the price of 1 at the outset, but it is definitely 2 for the price of 2 from there on, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You pay for it later. Yes.
Yeah, because I think you have dreams of like, oh, they'll just share clothes and share shoes and share a bedroom and share food. They're going to eat spaghetti together. Like, it's like, no, they're not. They're going to fight, and they're going to want different stuff.
And no hand-me-downs. Like, there is no point in having hand-me-downs, huh? You just have to buy 2 of everything, and you use it for 3 months if you remember it, and then you have to give it away to somebody else, huh?
Yeah, and these are boy-girl twins. So, I mean, they're complete opposites in terms of their personality and their interests. So, not only are you not able to share things, it's also a constant conflict between the two of them over who gets to win whatever it is that they're doing.
Yeah, the power struggles are like, and I constantly going back and forth between trying not to referee because that doesn't help anything, but then also I want this to be over.
Because
like, yes, I mean, this morning, my son decided he wanted to put on all the like play rings we have in our house, which is like, a bunch from various, like even from like cupcakes and stuff, right? Like plastic shit. And the second my daughter saw one of the rings on his hands, she fucking had to have it immediately or she was burning the house down. And I was like, Hannah, you're just saying that because he has them. You haven't worn this in forever. I want it now. And so I want to just pack up everything and move, but I can't do that. So
because you just moved 2 months ago.
We just moved.
And you can't possibly
exactly.
do that again.
Yes.
But Erez, do you...
No,
Erez, do you and your husband blame bad behavior on each other and say, obviously, that twin, it's your fault because of this? Or when it's a good behavior child, it's always thanks to you?
Well, we do that internally more than externally.
We do it passive aggressively more. It's
right.
more,
Like we kind of know it's implied. It's not stated out loud, but it is implied.
It's like a thick fog that just lives in our house. Speaking of being a psychologist, tell us a little bit about that, because we are doing this special Pride Month thing here on Gaytriarchs. So we're doing our 4 pillars of pride, and we totally stole this from Moulin Rouge. But this week is going to be about truth. And we were just thinking about, like, that's obviously a very kind of cliche word that we use often in the gay community and coming out and all that kind of stuff. But also it's very important to talk about, because we all kind of lied about who we are. Unless you kind of started your life as a gay person, we all kind of lied for a while. Then we kind of came out, and we kind of had to pick through the stuff, the parts of our personalities that were real and those that were kind of created to protect us. And so I'm curious, in your line of work, is that like at the forefront of what you do? Does most people who come through your doors, are they struggling with like kind of who they are earnestly?
So yeah, I mean, I would say, like, in my practice, so I work a lot with gay men, but I also work specifically with people with borderline personality disorder. And folks with borderline personality disorder, one of the symptoms typically is a lack of a fully developed sense of identity, right? So I often am faced with this question of, like, who am I? Like, and people kind of feel like their personality is sort of diffuse and based on who they're with, rather than having kind of like this internal compass. So that is something that I see a lot. I mean, a lot of the gay men that I work with aren't kind of like earlier in the journey of coming out. But certainly I think, like, the journey to self-discovery doesn't stop once you've come out. Like, there is still a process of kind of like learning who you are and who you want to be and how you want to be in a relationship and what kind of life you want to build for yourself. So the process of figuring out identity, I think, is kind of like a long-term process.
Isn't that everybody's long-term journey? Like, have you in your practice met 25-year-olds that you're like, holy shit, you have everything together. Your identity is fully formed. This is amazing. Versus counseling a 65-year-old who's like, wow, you really got to get your shit together.
No, I have not met those. Like, I mean, that's kind of like the case across the board. I mean, I feel like for myself, right, my identity is constantly shifting, right? Yeah. Like 7 years ago, before I had kids, I feel like my personality was very different than it is today. It kind of like really throws your identity into crisis to have children, and you have to figure out who you are all over again.
Yeah,
crisis after crisis after crisis, for sure.
So many crises.
I was looking at your biography on your website, and it said that you specialize in dialectical behavior therapy. So is that what you're talking about identities that are not fully pulled together and the personality disorders?
That's right. So dialectical behavior therapy is an evidence-based treatment for... Well, originally it was developed for folks with borderline personality disorder. I mean, today, after 30 years of research, they see that it's like pretty effective for working with a number of different issues that people struggle with. But at its core, a lot of the folks that come to me are folks with borderline personality disorder. So it's kind of like a specialized treatment that incorporates cognitive behavioral therapy with aspects of Zen Buddhist philosophy and kind of like acceptance-oriented approach. So kind of like learning to accept yourself, accept your thoughts, accept your emotions, while also working on changing behaviors that get in the way of your goals.
David, you can just check out of this interview right now, because I want to go down so many rabbit holes, and I know there won't be nearly enough dick jokes. So please insert a dick joke right here. Please insert dick joke. Hilarious.
No, I was just thinking while you were talking about, like, the idea of, like, discovering who you are, and like 6 years ago, before you had kids, you were a different person. I mean, we all were. And I was thinking about, like, it's like the stressors, right? Like, if it, like the different kinds of adversity you go through life. It's the same thing with screenwriting on my line of work, is like, character is shown through conflict. Like, the decisions that people make in a screenplay reveals their character, right? And so I was thinking about, like, the things that I have discovered about myself after having children. Some of the things I'm like, oh wow, look at, you're like going through an old trunk. You're like, oh, look at that. That's kind of cute. I like that. And then you pick some shit out and you're like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that part of my personality that I just discovered. I think we're going to put that right back in the trunk, because that part I don't like. And for me, it's been patience. Like, I always knew that, like, I don't like standing in line, but I never thought I was as impatient and quick to get to anger as I did when I had children. Like, I get my daughter can look at me cross-eyed, and I'm like, I'm at 100. I'm like, what the fuck are you like? What's I'm like, okay, wait, hold on. I don't like that part of my personality I've discovered. Anyway, I have nothing funny to say,
that
but
is
like,
very
yes, I totally
validating to hear. I mean, I definitely think of myself as someone who is pretty patient and forgiving, but as a parent, like,
put on your fucking shoes. Put on your fucking
just
shoes.
Put them on.
Yes.
And tell me about Spirit Week or Spirit Day at least a week in advance, not the night before. But wait a minute.
The Spirit Week thing. Sorry, can I interrupt? Gavin, I'm sorry. I have to interrupt. Sorry, I have to interrupt.
Personality. We don't want to talk about personality
disorders. We'll go back.
More?
But I want to talk about the Spirit Day thing. Our school is doing the last 26 days of school with the letter of the alphabet. So it started with A, and it was like,
that's awful.
Blah, 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 blah. And we have like a 6-page document we're referring to for 26 days. I'm sorry. Go back to your stuff.
Take it straight to the Board of Ed, David. That deserves a public comment. Believe me.
Yeah, sorry, Kevin. That
interrupt. Principal needs to be shamed.
Yeah.
Okay, but I am just curious with personality disorders, for instance, and the treatments that you have right now. Would you say that this is environmental or genetic? Like, I always think about when I think about health issues, and I think, thank God it's not 1857 when you twisted your ankle and you just fell over and died, and that was it. But also, were personality disorders what informed ghost stories and demon stories from 200 years ago because we didn't know how to deal with them? Or is this an aspect of living in a really difficult modern society?
That's an interesting question. I mean, so basically, like, the term borderline personality disorder came from Freud, and it kind of like Freud conceptualized it as people being on the border between being neurotic and psychotic, and that you can kind of like, with the right amount of stress, kind of like verge into psychotic processes. I mean, that's not how we understand it today at all. So, I mean, today we kind of understand it as being like related to a biosocial model, which means that there's like biological components that contribute to it, and then there's environmental components. So on the biology side, people have just differences in how sensitive they are to environmental stimuli, right? Like, some people, like, certain noises drive them nuts, and other people like are completely oblivious to those things, or certain smells. Or so if you have kind of like certain sensitivities that other people don't, then you are more likely to be met with invalidation from the environment, where it's kind of like, why is this bothering you? Like, this doesn't make any sense that you're having this kind of reaction. And so that sort of invalidation, what it does is it actually increases distress and decreases your ability to trust your own emotions. And so what happens over time is that there's kind of like this pattern of emotional mistrust, emotional suppression, but then eventually it kind of like boils over and you react in very big ways. And so that kind of like creates this pattern that we often see in folks with borderline personality disorder.
Gavin, is that what we're going through, is emotional mistrust with each other?
This was very triggering. That whole answer was very triggering. Well, so then how do we as parents help our kids? I mean, when you talk about big emotional reactions, for instance, you immediately think of toddlers, obviously. So how much do you use your expertise in parenting, and how much can we use your expertise in parenting children who have a strong sense of identity?
Or is it all like the shoemaker's children go barefoot? You're like, I don't fucking know how to do any of this.
It absolutely is the shoemaker's children go barefoot. Everyone assumes that I'm like this perfect parent because I teach these skills for regulating emotions, but it's very hard to apply these things to your own kids. Right? There's a reason why you're not supposed to like therapize your own children, and that's you cannot be objective with them. So it's really tough. It's really tough. But the idea is like, validation is kind of like the key, and I think that validation is something that we can all work on. Right. I mean, speaking of Pride Month, like the whole idea of Pride is that you're kind of countering this invalidation that you've experienced as LGBT folks, like your entire lives, right? Like people telling you that who you are isn't valid or what you feel isn't valid.
Yeah, the narrative isn't correct. Yeah.
And so, I mean, translating that over to our kids, like the idea is that you can disagree with what they're doing and still validate why they're doing it, right? So you can communicate understanding and validation of their emotional experience, of their behaviors, even as you're correcting those behaviors, right? And I think that that's the key, because then they can see their own experience as being valid and also recognize that other people might see things differently than them.
Question, Erez, for you. This morning, my daughter asked for peanut butter on a waffle. We were out of waffles. So I said, what about a tortilla? And she said, okay, but her palate decided that the tortillas were too stale. She screamed, she knocked over a chair, and then she went into her room and cried and kicked the wall for 5 minutes. What do I do?
Is this
because
all
what
about
I wanted
validating?
to do was light the house on fire and move to Iowa, but I couldn't do that. So I'm having to negotiate with a toddler who's screaming at me because it was my fault that the tortillas were too stale.
Yes.
Because
So I guess I'll give a caveat.
How do I
that I'm not
validate?
a child psychologist, so I mean, take my advice with a grain of salt here. But I do think there is room to say I get that it's upsetting. I get that you wanted the waffle and that we didn't have that, and it makes sense that you're upset about this, right? And at the same time, we need to get ready for school right now, or whatever it is that you need to get her doing. Other than that. Right. And I guess some other strategies would be to potentially give her some tools for managing her big emotions. So it's kind of I get that you're having these big feelings right now over this. What do you think you can do?
Do you want a cigarette?
Can we go get a cigarette?
Just have a smoke just to calm things down. You know that picture of Ben Affleck
that's in the fridge, whatever you need to just bring it down a bit.
Yes.
Well, does that go along the lines then also of our pillar of truth here for Pride Month? That how do we avoid ever having children feeling like they are living in the closet?
Yeah.
I would say probably don't have children.
Okay,
good. All right.
Because everybody,
I'll let them know that when they get home today. Sorry, guys. Erez says you have to go. Get the fuck out.
Or maybe just put them in the closet and walk away and move to Iowa, David.
Deny who you are. Yeah, deny who you are.
I mean, I think that there's always going to be things that children feel shame over. They feel like they need to hide from their bad. There's no way to avoid or escape that. I mean, you just do your best, and you don't expect perfection of yourself the same way that you don't expect perfection of your children. And so you can try to create an environment where they feel safe being fully themselves, and at the same time, you're not the only person in their life, right? My daughter is in kindergarten, and there are all of these things that she's hearing from other peers that are causing her shame in all sorts of ways that I want to protect her from. But that's sort of her journey to be on, right? So all you can do is create an environment where they feel comfortable coming to you and they don't feel like you're going to judge or criticize them.
One thing I've discovered, I feel like that's been very helpful and I'm very proud of. One of the tiny few things that I'm actually proud of for me as a parent is, my son is probably gay. He knows all of Ariana Grande songs. He loves wearing skirts and doing cartwheels, right? But it's always been important for me not to raise him in a world of everyone can be who they are, blah, 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 without the caveat of, but most boys don't wear dresses. But people may make fun of you for that, and that's okay, and we'll fight that. But know that most boys do like sports, or whatever the thing is that I know is going to come up, because he's in first grade now, and man, gender kind of divisions and sex, it's all happening already. He hangs out with the girls doing jump rope, and the boys are playing rough, and so it was important for us to always, like you said, be this is a safe space. You be whoever you want to be, and also, this is how the world is. I do the same thing when people talk about moms and dads. I'm yeah, you have two dads. Most people have a mom and a dad, but not all, to make sure that the kind of reality of their world, so they don't I was worried that my kid would get into the world, be you told me I could be whoever I was, but now look, everyone's making fun of me. So it's a weird balance, but I think you have to kind of arm him with that protection, because you said, your kids are in kindergarten. They're going to experience these shaming things, whatever they are.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of there was this commercial once about this dad who had a kid who wanted to be a ballet dancer. And the dad was this Hispanic guy, and he was not into it at all. And he took the kid to karate lessons, and the kid wasn't into the karate lessons, but he did it anyway because his dad was pushing him to do it. And then after he got his black belt, then the dad bought him a ballet outfit as a gift, right? So it's kind of we're prepping you to deal with whatever invalidation you might experience from the world, right? Like you want to kind of set those realistic expectations. You don't want the kid going into the world with this kind of like rose-colored glasses thinking that they're not going to be met with any sort of challenge, right? And at the same time, you want to be that safe space for them. And it sounds like you're trying to strike that balance there.
Failing every day at it, but trying. Yeah.
Always.
Absolutely. Proudly failing every single day. And if it's not going to be, something that you said earlier made me think, listen, it's almost like they will probably be in the closet about something in their lives. And it might not be about sexuality. And that's what life is kind of about, is coming to terms with what your proclivities are, what the things you like are, and not feeling shame about it. But there's always going to be some kind of adversity that will, trap us in our brains, I would imagine.
And
like shame is the cornerstone of like most of the clients that I see, like the thing that is keeping them down and keeping them in their depression or anxiety is some form of shame.
Yeah.
Right. It's something that they're ashamed of. I mean, it's not always related to sexuality, but there are always going to be things that you're getting messages from your environment in some way that there is something wrong with you for this thing about yourself.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like everyone's challenge with finding their pride and being able to be open about it. This is an example that I give in my group because so I do these DBT skills group where we're teaching skills for how to cope with shame. And the way to cope with shame is to describe the thing that brings up shame for you with pride. So to kind of like be open about it. Right. Like we say shame is kind of like mold. It grows in the dark. Right. And so the more that you suppress and hide the things that bring up shame, the more shame is going to grow and impact your life. But if you can be open about it, bring it to light, right? If you're not going to experience rejection, if you are going to experience rejection over it, then either hide it or find people that aren't going to reject you over those things. But if you aren't going to be met with that sort of rejection, then you need to be open about the thing that brings up shame. Right? Like this podcast, like you're talking about all sorts of foibles that you experience as parents, right? Like that's kind of like a counter to the shame that we carry, feeling like we're failing all the time as parents.
That can be a quote on the back of our book that we're never going to write about Gaytriarchs. That's awesome.
I think, Gavin, we need to kind of come out of some of our shame and admit some things that we're shameful about to let them see the light. So, Gavin, I just want to tell you that I'm ashamed and I bring out to light that I have a giant penis, billions of dollars in the bank account, and I'm a very successful person in my career.
And this, are you doing this as a volunteer project to help me through my
I just want to be brave. Yeah, I just want to be brave here for a moment. Wait, speaking of truth and coming out and being and loving who you are, you and I share something very special that we have discovered, which is our shared love of Halloween. And the borderline criminal amount of decorations that you and I have. You and I have known each other for a couple of years, but then the other year you were like, "Oh, you've never seen my yard at Halloween?" And I was like, "I don't think I have." And oh my God. It is like your poor husband is always like, I just don't know what to do, because every year you're like,
a bigger house just to store these Halloween decorations.
Oh my God, because you live on like kind of a corner, so you have like quite a bit of front yard, and there is oh my God, it is one of those things. And like every year you're like, okay, what does Lowe's have?
If you Google Earth my address, you can literally see our Halloween decorations from space.
Oh my God! We're not going to give out your address, but yes,
we will be sharing a photo of that because that's absolutely amazing.
Yes. No, Gavin, go ahead and
So can you tell us a little bit about your work with the Orthodox Jewish community? Because I would imagine that is a really interesting niche that you have leaned into in helping those who are struggling with their sexuality in that community, which I assume is not always very welcoming.
Well, because we're talking about shame, right? Like there's this other level of religious shame on top, but yes.
Absolutely, 100%. So, I mean, I grew up Orthodox Jewish myself. And so basically, like it was sort of like selfish reasons that motivated me to create that group, right? So it was sort of like I wanted to meet other people who were having similar experiences of like being queer and growing up in this like very insular sort of homophobic often community. And so, yeah, I mean, for me, like that was one of the most healing things, was being able to connect with other people who had a similar upbringing to me, but also were dealing with their sexuality in the same way. And so it was a support group, but like a peer-based support group. And it was very social at the same time. So, I mean, we would have these meetings where we would discuss things like reconciling these different aspects of our identities and have like these long discussions about like how to do that, like how people individually kind of work through that themselves. And then we would also have like, let's go out to the bar and get drunk, right? So, I mean, it was kind of like a nice blending of
ripping off the Band-Aid of many elements of all over the place. I mean, is it a cultural thing or is it actually doctrine that for an Orthodox Jewish community that this is absolutely forbidden, or is it really just about cultural acceptance?
It's complicated because the thing is the Torah, right? The Old Testament doesn't say anything prohibiting gay identity. Right? Identity isn't really a concept that appears in the Bible, right? But what does appear in the Bible is like anal sex, right? This idea that like two men are not allowed to have anal sex. And so from that sense, there's like a religious prohibition against it. But the thing is, like, you don't necessarily know if this person who came out as gay is having anal sex or not. And also, it's none of your business if they're having anal sex or not, right? Like, there's also prohibitions against having sex when a woman is on her period, right? Like,
there's a whole lot of prohibitions in that Old Testament. That is for sure. Also, lots of prostitutes and concubines and circumcisions, just all over, and murder. Lots of murder.
Yes. So I think there is kind of like this cultural element that could be more accepting than it is. And then there's also like the religious element where the prohibition is always going to be the prohibition.
Yep.
So, I mean, we have like communities even in our town that are like pretty accepting of us as gay individuals, and our kids went to the preschool. But if we were to join the synagogue as members, they wouldn't like put our wedding date in their calendar of like wedding anniversaries of members the way that they would straight couples. So there's still kind of like these elements of like othering, but at the same time, like trying to be as inclusive as possible. So I think like people are kind of like grappling themselves with the degree to which they want to make space even within their religious identity to accept people and be as inclusive as possible.
Because that's the core of it, right? Is that like nobody's just following the Bible and do it. They're all having to draw their own lines in their own personal world of what they'll take, people who are religious, but like what they'll take from the Bible and say they believe in, and the other stuff they're like, well, that's not. Everyone has their own. That line is, there's a billion of those lines, and so you're discovering that. And then culturally, obviously, that's another thing. But like it just the hypocrisy just infuriates me. We've talked endlessly on the show about my beliefs about this kind of stuff, but like the talking about the shame coming from above and just like the weight on, I think a lot of people who grow up in various churches feel. There's a similar thing in Mormon church where like it's not being gay, it's the act of sex, but it still is fucked up. You're still kind of, you're just making yourself feel better that you're like, oh, I love gay people. No, you don't. If you're prohibiting them from doing what they, you know what I mean? Like it is this like white woman Midwestern way to get through the day. Be like, no, I love gay people. You just can't have sex with each other. Well, okay, then fuck off. That's what else is there to be gay other than brunch? It's brunch and anal sex. Brunch and anal sex.
Hey, don't knock brunch.
I mean, yeah, you cannot have brunch, but you can be gay. Yeah, right. All right. So we're running out of time, but I don't want to leave you. We could talk to you forever, but obviously. I do want to ask you. We love to ask our guests this. What is a moment from the trenches? What is a moment you as a parent feel like, oh fuck, I earned my parenting merit badge this week?
I feel like I can probably fill a library with those moments.
Good. You're in good company.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I will say, like, one that stands out. I mean, there are so many vomiting stories that, again, like the vomiting stories alone would fill an entire section of the library. But we were in Mexico a few years back, and we were going from Playa del Carmen to Cozumel, right, which is like a little island. And so you have to take a ferry ride. It's a 45-minute ferry. And it was shitty weather already. So, I mean, the whole point of this excursion was pointless because, like, you wouldn't be able to access the beaches, or, like, the whole reason for going was null. But anyway, because of the weather, like the water was very choppy on this like 45-minute like ferry ride, which I thought was 15 minutes. Only after we boarded did we find out that it was actually 45 minutes in choppy waters. And so I'm like sitting there and I see like Jacob is turning white and it looks like it's going to happen. And sure enough, and of course we didn't have any bags on us. We didn't have like anything. And he just like lets loose, vomit everywhere. And so we're like trying to find paper towels on this ferry to start cleaning that up. And as we're doing that, then Ella throws out.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, like the crew are coming in to help, and they're like, "Please take your children to the back of the boat."
Oh, please throw them overboard.
Please remove yourself.
No,
remove yourself and make everybody
throwing them overboard myself. But so we go to the back of the boat, and they're like cleaning up the front. And then Jacob again throws up all over the back of the boat.
Oh, man.
And then, again, Ella throws up all over the back. So we had 4 vomits within 5 minutes.
Oh, God.
Which was lovely.
I have been on that.
Everyone's favorite passengers on.
I have been on that boat from Cozumel over to the mainland, and I have to say it became like an SNL proportion of hilarious vomiting all over the place. That was just very triggering for everybody in the bus. In the boat. And I would imagine 25 to 30 people of all ages were barfing all over the place, and the sound was deafening. Sure.
And I feel like there's those moments as parents we have just like that where you want to say to everyone around you, I hate this too. I want to point out that I'm not enjoying this. I'm not ruining your day. They're ruining my day as well. So like, this is not me being a bad parent. I also hate being covered in vomit because then there's the recovery, right? Then you get back to land. Now what? Now everyone's covered in vomit. What are you getting in a taxi? Like, what is happening? What is
you have a change of clothes for the kids, but you're covered in vomit and you don't bring a change of clothes for yourself. And you just have to have the rest of your day like covered in vomit.
God, parenting. What a joy. Erez, we have so much more to talk about, but we're out of time. But I want to thank you for coming on and telling us giving us all the secrets about living our truth and for demeaning yourself by being on our stupid little podcast. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, guys.
So my something great this week is something I came across on the socials, and it is the author of Heated Rivalry, Rachel Reed, receiving an award. And she gives a speech about why is it that so many women love Heated Rivalry. And I thought it was really interesting to hear her say, why wouldn't women and men want to see a story about consent? I thought that was interesting that she led with that. I've heard many people talk about this is a really great study in consent. This show that you would agree, wouldn't you, David, that it's wait, you still haven't seen it, have you?
Yes.
You have?
Rivalry? Yes.
Oh,
I've masturbated that to a million times. No, I know. We talked about it a couple months ago and I hadn't watched it, but then my husband
and I not caught up.
Yeah, we did it all. Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, Rachel Reed talking about the consent and the vulnerability and the truth between the two of them, and listening to her talk about what she thinks that women love about Heated Rivalry, which is also the second, third, or fourth most important thing that gay men care about in watching Heated Rivalry. But it was interesting to hear it from her mouth. And so that was something great was her speech and her acceptance of this award.
Consent was not one of the reasons I watched that show. Just FYI. Okay, my something great this week is something really great. And I really mean this with my full throat. We had our listener have their first baby. And you say, David, I know. I'm sure lots of listener has had babies since you started the show. This is our listener. The listener, Daniel, he came to our meetup. He made the listener shirt. He's been a fan of ours since day one. We have appreciated it. We've met him. And he sent us a very sweet message last night about the fact that we were a big part of him becoming a dad, and that he's listened to the show before he started the process and throughout the process, and we've been very helpful, which again, I'm a little offended by. We try not to be helpful at all on this show.
Do not come to us for help.
But he's gone through many years journey to get to this point. And I saw on his Instagram page yesterday that they had their first child. And there's this gorgeous photo shoot of them in the hospital. And so he sent us a sweet little message. We chatted a little bit last night, but we are so thrilled. And I can't believe we're so old as a podcast to where this podcast has made babies. We have been there before the baby existed, and now we are there after the baby existed. But we are so glad that your baby exists, and we are so thankful for you, listener, dear listener, and all the listener out there for sticking with us, and welcome to the world, new baby.
Many, many, many congrats, listener. And that's our show. If you have catty comments, suggestions, or backhanded compliments, email us at GaytriarchsPodcast@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram at GaytriarchsPodcast. David is at David F. M. Bond everywhere online. Gavin is at Gavin Lodge at a dinner table, keeping his kids from tearing the place apart.
Okay, so I'm just reading this live because this is all changed. This boilerplate that has existed for 155 episodes is changed, and I'm reading this live. If you enjoyed this episode, or even if you didn't, but dig our vibe, the single best thing you can do for us, oh my God, this is so Gavin Lodge, this is so overrated, is follow us on Spotify or subscribe on Apple Podcasts, or just check out our Gaytriarchs Facebook page for more hacks and constructive complaining. Did you have ChatGPT write this? Gavin,
No,
oh my God.
No, that's the sad part. I know.
People have already turned this off. Let's get to the end.
We'll fix it for next time. Or both. We don't believe in limits. It's free. It takes 3 seconds, and it generally helps people find us.
Thanks. And we'll read Anna Karenina with you next time on another episode of Gaytriarchs.